Salut coders, welcome back to another tutorial. This is Bisky here, and in this tutorial we want to create a REST API so that we can create all these nodes and relationship that you are seeing on this graph database. We are going to create genres, we are going to assign we are going to like music and put music in a certain year, creating this album into a certain year, and you also create artists and add comment to a user. If a user added a comment to a song, like what we are going to do, I can show you an example. If you go to the comment API, a user one can create a comment for a song. User one can create a comment for this song. Let's delete everything here. This is not necessary. Hello coders, and you can see a comment will be generated for this user. If I reload this, you can see a comment. This comment was added, and the user one is the one who posted the comment, and the comment is for this song. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to create all this relationship to your nodes, and you can learn more things because we are going to debug some of the errors that we created on the previous tutorial, and we can come up with this diagram by the end of this tutorial. So let's get started. So in here, let's create a new package called API or a controller. I can call it API. Our first API, it's a user API. We want to create a user through REST. So let's create a new class called user API. And our user API, remember to avoid null point exceptions. As I told you, on services you use at services, but on API we use at REST controller. This one, you can see it added this, so it's now in our inversion of controller a container. And let's add it request mapping. And in our request mapping here, we just say users, and remember, let's add it required Axe constructor because we want to use a user service here. So let's now do this private final user service. So we are using dependency injection, and we are using the interface, not the implementation. So we are calling this interface. Then our first method here is supposed to be public, and let's hit make REST entity. Response entity, and it's of type which record for the user that we added, user registration, this one. Let's import the record. Create new user, and we want to pass this record. We want to send it as an object, and here we just say return for a successful. We just say return response entity dot status http status, this one dot created. We want to return 201 dot build. We want to return 201 when you create a new user. So here, don't forget to add response body, add request body, So this is the JSON that you are sending is supposed to have these fields. So this will the JSON will be converted to this class. So we didn't specify the method that you want to do, and it's a post. So we just say add post mapping. So you want to create a new user. It's now a post mapping. We are okay. So we want to create a new user here. We just say create new user, and it requires this. So this is our API to create a new user, and it will be a node. If the user is an artist, it will create an artist, and also it will then assign a relationship. Then the next thing for our user, we want to add a method to follow an artist. So let's do that right now. Public, and I will make it void, and I can say follow artist. Then we say here, when you are following an artist, if you go here, there are two things that we want: user ID and artist ID. So here we need to pass a user ID and artist ID. Here it's going to be a put mapping because we want to update something. So in our put mapping, we just say for users, we want to pass a user ID as a path variable. So we just say user ID then it's an artist, so we want to map an artist, so just say artist ID, and I told you it's a path variable. You can see it's showing an error, and we are supposed to add a path variable. So here just add a path variable, and also add a path variable here. If you are doing this, we are okay. We just say user service, this one dot, we want to follow user follow in artist, and we pass a user ID, and we pass an artist ID. By this we can save. It will then add a relationship. So let's now create another one, which is unfollow artist. So here our API are now the same, so it will cause a problem. So you have to add something like follow. Here we just say unfollow. So it means this we are following an artist, because remember we are passing a user ID and artist ID. So the relationship it's between user and artist. So you just say user unfollow artist. So if we can test this implementation, is supposed to work. But what you want to do, let's add Swaga on our application and create a new user. So far we don't have configuration for Swaga. Let me do this and create config. And we need, let's go to our user service and copy what we want from here. We have this is Swaga configuration. Let's copy it. And let's come back to our music service, and we can add in our config, let's add this. We don't have this dependency. Let's copy that Swaga dependency. let's come back to our user service. We have Swaga dependence. So let's just copy all the dependencies, including the security one. Copy music service. Then let's go back here. So for now we need to comment the security, because so far we didn't add security on our application, and let's think we will enable security soon. Maven reload project. So you can see the configurations are gone. So on previous tutorial I showed you we need to configure the Swaga so that it will be loaded on the project. So what you can do, just come here in our application. We need to copy this package for Swaga. So let's come back here and go back to our music service and replace this with this. So this is our package of our application, which is .code with Bisq, and this is the package for Swaga. If you can see, it will load this configuration into the inversion of controller container. So that's the purpose of adding external, which is different from our package. So we can test to create a user. I have deleted everything in my database. My database is empty right now. Everything is empty. So what you want to do is to create a new, you can see no user is already there, and I installed Neo4j desktop. So you can download Neo4j desktop. Last time I showed you I was using Docker. So Neo4j, you can download Neo4j desktop. So based on operating system, you can just download Neo4j on your computer and you can install it. After you install, you have to create a new project like this. You create a new project after your installation, and you can say project 1. From your project 1, so far we don't have a database, you can just say local dbms, or I can okay, you just come here and say local dbms and enter your password. So for me, I'm using this password, which is secreted one, and I will come to my configuration here, copy this password, secret 81234, and you can enter the password, select the version. I'm using 530, and you can say create. So after creating, you just select this and you can say start. So you just say fix configurations. If there's another instance running on your computer. So you are good to go. You just say click open. If you want to open this, you just click open. So I'm already having this one which is running. So this is what you are going to do. So for me, I'm using this one. This is the one that is running. On this, you just click open and it will show you a browser like this. So let's test our application. Let's create a new user and I'll run this service. Yeah, my application is now running. So let me run the Swaga URL. We just say our service run at port 7040 we can confirm that in our configuration repo. Music service, we can go to the music service. It's running on port 7040. It's okay. Then music, which is the context path, and Swaga UI index.html. So you can see we have these three APIs that we created, one for creating following a user, for creating a user, the other one is for follow, and the other one is for unfollow. So what we want to do, we just say for this user, let's test this, let's test how to create this one. So here, is it an artist? First of all, I want to create a general user which is not an artist. So this one, I will say user 1, and the name it's user 1, and the date of birth I can say 2001. Gender, this person is a male. Language, English, EN for English, and it's from France, FR. Then I'll execute this. We are getting 500. Let's look to the error. Here it's saying something like connection to database terminated. Please ensure database is listening to the correct host. Let's look for our configurations. And let's go to our configurations repo. Here it's Spring Neo4j. We made a mistake here. We have to cut this, and it's supposed to be a string. It's supposed to start from here. Like this. That's our issue here. Authentication, user, and password. So it's supposed to be Spring Neo4j, not server. It was in a wrong path. So we need to commit this. I just say fix Neo4j db configs, and I will push this. So let me test creating again. Oh, sorry, I have to run the service again so that it will load the correct path, the correct configs. After running the service, let me create a user again, and I execute. And you can see it returned 401 to 201. It means a new node was created. And if I come to this browser and click to this, you can see this user has been created, and it's a user 1 with the details that we added. So far, there's no relationship with this user, and these are the properties that we added: date of birth, male, the ID is user 1, English, and the name. So we need to create another user who is an artist. Let's create and test. Here I'll just say artist 1. And I'll just say an artist. Then I will say true. We want to pass this parameter called artist. It's supposed to create an artist. So the date of birth is not okay. Let's use reuse, and I'll click execute. 201 is retained. Let's see if our nodes are now okay. And I can run this. So far, we have this one, which is a user and artist. Let's see this user. Okay, we have this user, and we have one artist. Okay, we have this artist with artist 1. Let's see for the relationship if he's in. So yeah, okay, our relationship is okay. We have this artist, which is artist 1. Here it's a user, and this is the artist, and it's pointing to the artist, and it's an artist. So we are okay. So we want the user 1 to follow artist 1. Let's come back here. We need to follow an artist 1, and we want a user 1 to follow an artist 1. User 1 follow an artist 1, and let's execute this, and it returns 200. Let's go back, and you can see we now have a new relationship type called follows. If I click follows, it now showing this user is following this artist. So what I can do right now, it's like I can run the command to match everything, which is n return and I want to see all nodes. You can see we have this artist 1 is also a user, and this is the artist, you can see, and we have this user 1 which is following this artist called artist 1. So we are now starting to build our nodes with our REST APIs. So let's continue by creating another API. Let me close all this, and let's go to our API, and let's look for another API that we think we can create. For here we are not creating via API. We can go to genre. So let's create a genre API. New Java class. On our genre here, let's add like what we did here, and let me just copy this. And make it this private final genre service. This one, our interface. And our first method is to create. So the best thing that we can do is to just divide this. We need to create, so we just say create, and here let's change here to genre, or let me do this, just put a question mark. We will replace with a DTO. Here I just say genre. This we will refactor this, and then we just say genre create. I think it's create, and you can pass genre, so it will create. Control B, it will create a genre with a name and a key and the ID. So we are okay with this. On another thing is to add artist to genre, so we can just copy this method, so here we just said add path variable, add path variable, and it's a put, remember, and it's a genre. So here it's a genre ID, and we want to add an artist, so it's okay. Then we just say we can pass this. and our first code is genre ID and artist ID. So by doing this, we can add here, it's just put mapping, add artist to genre, assign. So you are assigning this to genre, assign artist, because we want to add a music again. So let's just copy this and do the same. So add song here, we just say assign song, and we just say add song to genre. Here it's no longer an artist, it's now a song, and it's a song ID. Here it's showing an error because this song ID is not matching this one. It's supposed to match with this path variable. So you can assign like this, and we can also remove this one. We can remove artist from genre, and the name of a method is this one, and here it was an artist, and we want to unassign. So this is an unassign. We can do the same for a song. Here it just being a song, which is a song ID. And let's replace this with the song ID. Remove song from this genre, and after doing this, unassign song. So with this logic, we can assign an artist to genre and a song. So let's test this. So let's reload the page so that it will load the new APIs that we created for genre. These are the previous for API, and these are for genre. So what you can do is to come here, genre. We want to just send few variables here. That's why I say I need a DTO, because it will confuse the developer, the front end guys. So we refactor this when they are developing the API. So let's remove the ID because the ID is auto-generated, and the key, you can say it Danso. I love Danso. And for this is going to be visible to the user when he's selecting Danso like this. And then I can create this. It's returned 201. If I go here, let me use this. You can see it added this node, which is a Danso. This one, and this is the ID. So I want to copy this ID. We want to assign this artist one into this genre. I'll copy this, and I'll come back to our API. Let's come back to our API. We have the ID of genre, so we are okay. Let's add this artist. So far, what you can do is to add artist to genre, or to assign an artist to genre, because we haven't added a song yet. So we need to assign artist to this genre, and we can try out here. We end the genre ID, which we just copied, and the artist ID is going to be artist one, and we can execute. and return 200. I think it's now okay. And let's see. Let's check the fields that we sent here. Here it failed to add because you can see I said artist. I didn't. It was a wrong artist. It's supposed to be an artist one which we created, and I can execute here, and I can come back here. Let's wait and see. You can see we now have belongs to Shenra. So we now have this. So you can see this artist belongs to this genre. So to see the whole diagram, we just say n for all nodes, return n, so that you can see the whole relationship now. So you can see this artist, this user is an artist, and the artist belongs to a dancer. So I can also remove this, so we can test also that to remove this relationship by coming to our API, and this was our ID. Let's test all of our endpoints and assign artist, and here we just do this and say artist1, and we can come back here. You can see it's the relationship is gone now. So if I run the same here, you can see we have this dancer so far because we removed the relationship. So this artist is no longer belonging to dancer. So we can create another like hip hop, and we can assign it to hip hop. So let me go back here to genre. And I can execute hip hop, and then a new ID will be created for hip hop. So if I go to genre, you can see I have this one. So let me assign that artist to hip hop. So here I can change this to here, and I can assign this, and I can come back here. And if I do this, you can see the belongs to, or I can rerun this one to load all nodes. This one, you can see this new artist, it now belongs to hip hop. Last time it was dancer. So our assignment is working fine, and we didn't change anything. We are using the code that we created before. Right now we are just more focusing on the REST APIs. So let's look for another API that we can start to develop. And let's look for another API. We have song. Let's go to the song service and let's create a song API. I think this one is so simple also. Copy, paste it. Song API. For a song, here we just say songs, and here it's a song service. Let's rename this Shift F6. It's supposed to be song service. Here it's a create new song. Here it's going to be a create, and it requires when you're creating, it requires a song record. So let's make this a song record. So it also retain a song record. So it also requires an artist ID. So what we can do, you just come, let's just copy this, and we need an artist ID. which is this one, add a / here and a song ID, and it's a path variable. So songs for this artist, and you want to create a path variable string artist ID, which is coming from here, and you can pass our artist ID. So by doing this, we can create a new song, and a song here will be created, and we can see in our song, I think we forgot something here. I'm noticing something. We added this relationship, so we need to modify something here, which is a genre. Here, merge. Here, let's do this and search for the genre, because a song must belong to a genre. We by genre ID. This one, we want to look for a genre ID. Let's copy this parameter, since is the one that I'm added on last. Let me put it here, and I will copy the genre ID, this one. I'm just going to, because here we need to add a genre, so we just say this song belongs to genre, the genre that you are going to fetch here, which is this one. Is if you come here, we can see in our API, you can see if belongs to. So a song, if we have a song, it's supposed to belong to a genre also. So the arrow is supposed to point to a genre. So let's come back again. So this song belongs to genre. So we need to copy. No, not here. I made a mistake here. It's supposed to be here. And in our relationship here, we pass song ID, artist ID. So we need to pass also a genre. Let's pass the genre ID here. And in this logic, we need to pass a genre to this sound record. So here we have we added the genre ID. So let's copy here and just say comma song record dot genre ID. So right now we can assign this song with the genre ID. So what you can do, we need to refresh this, and let me restart the application. So it will load the new. Okay, these are not existing here, so let me remove them because I just copied, and let me run the application. So after running the application, I want to reload this because I added new properties on this. We added a new REST APIs, which is to save an artist. So I want to do this. Here I want to put our artist artist, which is an artist one, and we want to create a new song for this artist, and we call Love is Good. That's the title of the song. For storage ID, is supposed to be a random number, and we are using the Baninet. For an album, this thing does not belong to an album right now. We haven't added the album. So for genre, let's come back here. For genre, we need this ID. Let's copy the ID of genre and come back here, and we can paste our genre here. For duration of a song, we can say 320 seconds. Release date, maybe it's going to be, maybe it was released in 2022, so it's supposed to create a node for 2022, and released here it's going to be 2022. So after I run this, we are supposed to see something interesting here, and let's look if everything is working fine. We can see we have a song, we have a year, and we have the user who created, and we can see we have belongs. So let me just run this command and see if everything is now okay. So you can see right now this song Love is Good is in hip hop. It's in hip hop genre because we added the we added this as the hip hop genre ID when we creating, and this is the artist who created this song Love is Good, and it was released in 2022. So if I click here, you can see the created date, the time when we created our song on our system. So this date is important to us also. So we are now building our relationship of our application, so we can continue to add more relationship and nodes. So let's continue with our logic. And what else do we have in the artist? User like a song and user dislike a song, so we can add this also. So let me just come and copy. So we have a song ID and user ID. So let's come back in our user service. We have something similar like this, which is to follow and to unfollow. So let's just copy this and come to a song API. It's going to end the all APIs of this will start with songs. So here we need to pass a song ID. Song ID. Here a user likes, so we need a user. Here we need a user ID. So if a user like, we need to add this like the user likes, and we just say copy this, do this, and you say user like a song, and this one is supposed to be a user ID, remember. So our method start with a song ID. Here is supposed to be a song ID. And user ID. So this is the implementation of user like a song. So we can come here and you can do this. Oh, sorry. A user ID here, and you just say user like a song. Let's copy this and let's paste this. User dislike a song. Come here, paste this, and you just say dislike. So it means we need a song ID and user ID. User dislike a song, and we can run the application and we can see that this relationship. So if we have a song ID, remember, so we can reload. So far we added new endpoints, which is user like and user dislike. So we need a song ID and user ID. So what we have right now, if we come back here, we have this new song which we created. So you just come and copy the song ID, and we can come back here, and we want a user to like, and we can try to do this. This is the song ID. And for our users, remember, so far we only have one user, which is this one, which is not an artist, which is a user one. So we want to use this user one. So let's come back here. This is the user ID of that. So it's a user ID. So let's execute this. And after executing, let's go back to the diagram and see if we have a likes relationship. So let's do this. You can see this is a like relationship. So it shows that user one likes this song. User one likes this song, and this is the time this user like this song. So I can also remove the relationship for this song. Or let me just copy the ID so that a user can also dislike that song. So for dislike, we just say try out, and we can remove the relationship, and it's going to be a user one. So after executing this, let's come back here and let's run the same thing again. You can see after executing, you can see this user can also, so you can see this artist is also a user, but an artist can also like his song. So you can see, even you are an artist, you can, even if you are using Facebook or Twitter, you can also like your post. So this is the beauty of so we know this artist, the name, it's an artist one. So we can come back here, and we can on the like here, we just say artist one and execute. So if I come back here, you see that this artist will like this song. So you can see this artist likes the song, although he's the one who created the song. You can see this artist is the one who created this song, and this artist is liking the song also. And the song was released in 2021. And we can, let me come again and just say user one again. So it means two people like the same song. If I come here and execute this, you can see this user. You can see the user one and the artist. The user one and the artist, all these two people likes the same song. For our collaborative filtering, we will use these details like which one liked the same song that you also liked, so that we can recommend those songs for you. So let's now continue. I think for user service, I think these are okay for now. So far we didn't add the implementation of updating the user, but we implement the updating, and and you notice that in our application, when you created a song, it is it's supposed to be in draft status. So far I did implement. Let me fix that. I think we have the status. So in our status, it's supposed to be status from this module. So when creating a new song, it's supposed to be in a draft status. So we are waiting for a user to update all the details, and then we move this status to published. Then the song will be visible to everyone. So we would have that implementation later for moving from one state to another, and also to update some of the song details. I was more focusing on the creation part. So we fixed one thing here. So let's go to the album. I think the album will be more interesting also, because in the album we want to, a user must like an album, dislike an album, and create an album, and we need to assign a song to an album. So let's go here, let's come back here and create an album API. It's almost similar with the song API, so let's just copy the song API. So then the album API, let's create the album API, and here is supposed to be albums. So here we need to create a new album, create new album, and I think it's for this artist. Let's see here, it's an album surface. And we want to pass an album. We will refactor this. This album is supposed to return an album, and when creating a new album we need a released here and artist ID. So for an artist ID, this one, and for here we just say we already have we can say it request param, it's going to be an integer, and it will be passed like this, like released. So when creating it, it's supposed to be like this, Control V, paste. So albums for this artist and for this here. So this is the implementation. So create new album, and what else do you have? Album. So you have a user, which here someone an album ID, so that a user can like an album. So you can say user like an album, and let's replace this with an album ID. Album ID, replace here with an album ID. You can see the first, it's an album ID, so you just do this, and here we just say user dislike an album, and this one's supposed to be an album ID, an album ID, and this one an album ID. So let's test our, I think let's test our logic here. It has started, so let's reload this. We need to create a new album. So this is our album API. For an album, there are things that we want. We need an artist ID and a release here. So artists, we say artist. So far we have artist 1. And let's remove this. And we want to have these few fields. And the name of an album, it's Love Album. And then it will show, then we can create this. There's something wrong with our request. So now let's check what's the issue. I think it's our JSON. It's our JSON, this one. Let's execute. Let's look to the error now. Yeah, we have created it. So let's look for this error when we are assigning this. I think we have an error here. Let's look for it. Here we said created it. We are supposed to add a $sign here to map this. So that was an error. And here we are supposed to also add a $sign. So that was the error because we didn't map this correctly. The created it. So let's run this application. So the problem that we have is like we created this album, but it failed to map. You can see the album was created. If you go to the top, it was created. So let me delete this album. Delete n because it's an album, and I can execute this. This node was deleted. So after running this, let me execute this one. As you can see, the album was created and we got 201. So let's go back here and check. Here we want to return. Let's look for everything. You can see, let me cancel this. And for the album, it's a red. You can see this is the album and it is in year 2022 and it's for this song and everything. It's okay now. So let's go and see what else do you want to achieve on the album controller. A user can like, here it's the user like an album, it dislikes an album. Here, let's fix this album. So let's say if one user likes this album, so we can copy an album ID. When this album was created, this one, we have an ID assigned to it. So let's copy this ID and we want this user to like this album. So let's go back to our API. This one is for like, and for album, let's click try out and we can add album ID. And you want user one to like that album, and you can execute and you get 200. Let's check again. We can run the same command again and let's look for user one. You can see this user, he liked this album. This is the relationship. User one likes this album and also likes this song. So yeah, okay, let's test the command to dislike this and let's try test it again so that the relationship can be deleted. And user one, if I execute this, there's an error. Let's check the error. I think it's related to the mapping. User one, album one. Let's go here. So you have user one, relationship, album one, user ID and album ID. Okay, we forgot to add a match here. We are supposed to add a match here, and let's run the application again. Then let's execute it again. You can see we get it 200. And if you check here and try to run this, you can see right now there was a relationship between user one and album one. So if I run the same again, you can see now user one does not any relationship now with this album. So there's no relationship of this. So let's, we are okay. So we can execute it again and we can add this. And we can test again if our relationship has been executed again. So you can see now user one liked the album. So we are okay with this API controller, and it's easier, as you can see, to debug the cipher queries, and the commands are very simple. So let's look for another API with album, genre, song, user. Let's add this one for comment. We need a comment API. we can create a comment. So we can create copy from album. Let's paste, make it a comment API, comments. Here it's a comment service. Shift F6 to rename to comment service. Create new comment. And for the comment, if you are creating a comment, it requires a content user ID and a song. So we need a comment. Shift F6, make it a comment, and here user ID. If we check it here, it requires user ID and a song ID. So here I can make it a song ID. Let's delete this, or okay, this one to be this, and here make it a user ID. The path variable here, we want a comment to this song, which is for this song. We want to create a comment for this song, and it's coming from this user, which is this user. We just say user. We can create a comment for this, and here we can look here. It requires user ID and song ID. We just say user ID and song ID, and we can delete the other two. In this API, it's just for a comment, and this is going to be a delete. For a delete, you just pass an ID. So you just copy this, and we can say delete mapping, and you can pass the comment ID. And we can remove this, and the path variable is just an ID, and you can delete this one. And let's remove this. It's a delete mapping, remember. And here let's make it void, delete by ID, and you can delete the comment, and we can run our application. So let's reload this so that we can have a new API for comment. Yeah, this is a comment. We want to comment. So we want user one to comment to a song. So you just say user one, the user that we created. And for this, we can delete everything that is in here. We shall have a TTO for this. Then we say good song, and you can remove this. And for a song that you want to comment, let's get the song ID for this song. And you can come back here, and you can paste this. And I want to see our create, what is it being mapped? It requires a comment and everything is okay. So let's execute this. We can see we get a 201. It means a comment was created. So let's see if this user, we are having a relationship for a comment here. So we can run the same query again. As you can see now, for a comment, we have comment, which is this one in yellow, and this user posted a comment, and this song is this comment. So these are the, if you want to get comments, we just use this relationship, looking for the comment which is a comment for this song. So I will show you how we can do that through query. So as you can see, our graph is now making sense and it's now building bit by bit. And you can see for each song it's in 2022 and an album is in 2022. So if you want to delete the comment, you can come back here and you can copy the ID of this comment. And let's try to delete it. This is a delete, and try out and see if everything is working fine. You can see it was deleted. And if I come back here, if I run this, you can see the node comment was deleted and there's no comment. So we have managed to add the delete and create. So far we didn't add the updating part. So the updating part, we shall have a tutorial for that. So let's go to another API that we think of. So far we have album. For an artist, let's have artist. So for an artist, we have this artist, which is to create and assign. For an artist, we are okay. We implemented this, and it's working fine. And let's look for another one, which is a playlist. We want to create a playlist and add a song into a playlist. So we want to create a new playlist, and for a playlist, we just need a title and description. So let's create a playlist API. Copy, paste, here just say playlist. Create new playlist, and it requires a playlist. So we can change this to playlist service and shift F6. And let's look for the playlist, what is required. And the playlist is for certain users, so it requires a user ID. So in creating a playlist, we need a user here and a user ID. We can pass a user ID here. So let's delete everything here. And here pass a user ID. And this is how we can create a playlist, and we are okay. So if I'm now able to create a playlist, and the playlist is assigned to the user. So let's now look for the other method that is in playlist, which is require a playlist ID and a song ID. So what I can do is to say ID and the user ID, and we just say new assign. What's this? Add song into playlist. Okay. Add song. So if I do this, I can say add song into playlist, and you can pass an ID, which is the playlist ID, and you just say ID and the user ID, and I can delete this since since we add a song into a playlist, we can add that logic later to remove this song from the playlist if you no longer need it. So let me run the application now. So I can copy the method name and put it here. So here it is add the song into a playlist ID and the song ID. So I'm here, it's not a user, it's a song ID. Sorry, I made a mistake here. We need a playlist ID and a song ID. So I can remove, I can leave it like that, it's okay. So let's reload this. I think we have a new playlist here. We want to create a new playlist first. Let's click try out. We are more focusing on this one. And for ID, let's remove its auto-generated. The title of playlist is skip playlist. Love songs playlist. And for user ID is for user 1. And I can create this playlist. There's an error. Let's check that error. And we can come here and you can see we have created it. I think we made some mistake here. Let's look. We forgot to add a comma, as I can see here. Let's look there. We are adding a relationship here. We forgot to say a merge. We need to merge. This user created this playlist. So let me run this again. So if I run this, the playlist was created. So let's delete that playlist because it's not assigned to anyone. You can see this one was created. So I can say playlist here. Let me update here and say playlist. This is how you can delete. If every playlist you just say delete, and it will delete all nodes with the node playlist. You can see one node was deleted. If I run this now, you can see the playlist is gone. So let me execute again this one. Yeah, if it returned to 01, it means the playlist was created and assigned to a user correctly. If I run this now again, you can see this user is now a playlist. This playlist and the time it was created. So what I want to do now, I want to add a song to this playlist and I need a playlist ID, which is this one. And come back here. We want to assign that. I need a playlist ID, which is this one. And a song ID that I want to assign. And let's come back to this. Let's look for the song. So far we have one song, so just copy this song and we can come back here and add a song ID and let's execute this. There's a 500 again. Let's check the issue again. Maybe there was an issue. We forgot to add a merge again to this. So if I come here, I just say merge. Then we can run the application. So I can execute it again and we get 200. It means we managed to assign this one. And let's run this again. Let's look for our playlist. You can see this playlist now contains this song. So you can see now if this playlist contains this song. So if there are many songs, you can see them all arrows pointing to the songs that are in this playlist. So we are okay now with adding into a playlist. We can also remove the song from playlist, which is remove song from playlist. So you look for song and playlist ID, and we can look for the relationship here, which was playlist contains a song. So let's copy the relationship here, and I can cut this, and here I just say delete. Remember, we want to delete a relationship, so I just delete relationship, and here we must add a relationship now. As you can see here on this one, it say playlist contains song. It's not like song contains playlist. So remove this arrow from this direction, and it's supposed to point to this direction. After doing this, let's remove the created edit date. It's not necessary, and let's delete this. So it's always playlist contains song. We are reading from backwards. So we can do this. This is the relationship which is that we want to delete. So you can delete the relationship. So in here from our method, we just do this, and we can say remove song from playlist, and I can come here and I can do this, implement methods like what we did here. We just come copy, we just say remove song from playlist, and it does not have this, and we want to fix this, which is remove song to playlist, which is supposed to be remove song from playlist. Remove song. The method name does not matter though. We want to correct grammar, so you need to add this endpoint. So we can do what we did here. Then we just say remove song from playlist, and here you just say remove song, and the name of the method, it's remove. So we can come here and update. So if I reload here, the song, the playlist ID was this one. I just want to copy it, and let me reload, and I come back to this song. This one was add, and this one is for removing. So we will change all this removing part to be delete mapping. So I can do this. This is the ID, and if you come here, we have this song. Let's remove it from the playlist and come back to this, and we can paste it here, and I can execute, and it's 200. If I come and execute this, we can see the playlist will no longer contain anything. So you can see the playlist is now empty. It does not contain any song. So that's okay from here. Did we miss any so far? Yeah, okay. So thank you guys for watching this video. I think now you're now understanding how the REST API is, how the nodes and relationship works. We tried to fix some of the relationship that but it was the minor issues, and it's now making sense to you. What's the meaning of merge? What's the meaning of match? Since we went through step by step of resolving these issues, we have created APIs and come up with this graph using our API, and we created this on the previous tutorial. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you are new to this channel, May you kindly subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we upload new video. Salut coders.